Hi, my name is EVaroujanian, and this is my final presentation for my clad bounding box. On the left, we have an image of my final physical model, and on the right is an image of my 3D Rhino model. So first we have some journal pages, which includes a thumbnail, and the rest of these just shows my thought process through creating the bounding box, the placement of the cladding, and different designs for where I would site my box. We started this project with 18 contour hand drawings. I made mine out of pencil, pen, and crayon, and out of the two bigger images on the left, the one on the right ended up becoming my final hand positioning for my wire hand. Here are three different views of my wire hand. I made it by wrapping it around my real hand, and before I closed off the wrist, I was able to put it on like a glove. I wanted to place my hand horizontal because in class before we made these, we were shown examples of previous students' work, and a lot of them were just placed vertical, and I feel like naturally your hand is more likely to be placed horizontal. Next, we drew our hand under light, and my shadows are going off the page because I really wanted them to be emphasized more than the hand, because eventually they would be incorporated into our box, and the more exaggerated the shadows were, the easier it was to see all the different twists and design of the hand as opposed to the actual drawing of the wire hand where everything kind of just jumbles together. This project was used to help us determine where we would place our hand in the bounding box, and I ended up using the top right one to help me design the box and help me place my cladding, at least on the front. Next, we created prototypes of potential corners out of wood and on Rhino. And the top two images are what I ended up using in my box, and the one on the top right I twisted so that the bigger piece of wood would be going across the bottom. These 5 words are the words that helped me the most throughout this process, with rhythm being the biggest one, just because I feel like my whole box all fits together nicely and flows really well. Here we have my instructions and my GIF. The red pieces are what are being added in each step. Next, we created section drawings. In the bottom left is where each section cut is being made and which direction they are facing, and they are color-coded. And in the actual section cuts themselves, what is filled in with black is what is being cut. The gray represents my cladding, and the rest of the wood is left blank with different line weights creating depth. Next, we added cladding to our 3D Rhino model, and on the right are a top, front, and back view with the cladding being outlined in red. Next, we cited our bounding box, and in class before we started designing different sites, my section started talking about galleries and how spaces can become architectural, so I wanted to make mine feel like a gallery. The bounding box sits on a shelf that is about 5 feet high to make it so adults and taller kids are able to see it easily. The back wall originally only had extrusions as opposed to holes, and eventually I added the holes to make it seem more compositional, but I really wanted it to have a gallery or a museum-like feel behind it, so that's why I added them. And on the left are different views of the box sitting in the room, and on the right there is a scale figure that is 5 feet and 4 inches high. So here is my final cloud assembly with a light source. It's placed in different places just so you can see the shadow either on the side, the top, the front, the back. On the top, from left to right, it goes the right side, the front, the inside of the front piece of cladding. The bottom has the left side, the back, and the top. And these images are images of my box from underneath, and I moved the light around just to emphasize the shadow a little bit more, and just so you can see how the shadows change when the light moves, and whether the light is directly in the box or if it's just a little bit outside of it.